Today, I'm going to be talking about congruence in polygons. If you're following along, this is Unit 6, Lesson 5 in our textbook. Here we go. Now, to understand congruence, it's important to know what that means. Congruent shapes match exactly. When we say two polygons are congruent, it means they have exactly the same size and shape. All corresponding sides are equal in length, and all corresponding angles are equal in measure. Think of congruent shapes as identical twins. They look exactly the same. Do these shapes match? And how can you figure out if they do? Well, if you said they do match, yes, they do. These shapes do match. And there are several ways you can determine this. You can carefully measure all the sides and angles to see if they are equal. Alternatively, you could superimpose or lay one over the shape on top of the other to see if they match exactly. If every point of one shape lines up perfectly with the other, then they are congruent. Here are some polygons. I would like you to try and identify 3 pairs of matching polygons. Now remember, in order for them to match, they have to be exact. Their sides and angles need to be equal or identical to one another. There will be 3 pairs of matching polygons from this set. You may choose to pause the video and try it on your own first, or stay right with me and we'll talk about them. So the first pair of matching polygons is polygon A and polygon E. All of their sides and angles are equal. The second pair of matching polygons are B and H. To find out, I need to make sure that I carefully measure both for their sides and their angles, or I could lay one on top of the other to see if they matched exactly. The third pair of matching polygons are C and F. These 2 polygons have all the same side measurements and all the same degree measurements. They are the same or identical, or they match. Think of those words. Those are all the matching pairs. And now, let's talk about the congruence symbol. When 2 shapes are congruent, we can use a special symbol to show this relationship. The congruent symbol looks like this. So for example, the 2 shapes that I'm showing you, in between, I've included the congruent symbol, and that is showing that these shapes are congruent, which once again means that all sides are equal and all angles are of equal measure. Now, looking at these shapes a little bit closer with some additional marks, I want to let you know that when we draw congruent shapes, we often use special markings to show which parts are equal. Hatch marks, these small lines on the sides, show that these sides are equal in length. If there is 1 hatch mark, all of the other places where there is 1 hatch mark will be of the equal length. If there are 2 hatch marks, anywhere where you see 2 hatch marks will be of equal length to where the first one was. Okay, another thing I want to mention here is small arcs with degree symbols show that angles are equal in measure. Those degree symbols, even though there isn't a number attached to them, let you know that they are showing that the angles are equal. What these markings do is they help us quickly identify which parts of different shapes correspond to each other? All right, now it's time for some practice. Let's go. Question number 1. Are these shapes congruent? And how do you know? You may take time right now to pause the video and try this out on your own. If you're a little unsure still, it's best to stay right with me. But if you're up for it, pause the video and try it out. You can unpause when you're ready to return. Now we're going to get to the answer. So the question was, are these shapes congruent? And yes, these shapes are congruent. They do match. They are identical. We know this because all sides and angles are exactly the same. When measured, each corresponding side has the same length, and each corresponding angle has the same measure. If we were to place one shape directly on top of the other, they would align perfectly. If you had it, great job. Let's move on to question number 2. Which of these shapes are congruent? And how do you know? Once again, pause the video to try this out on your own and rejoin when you're finished. All right, here are your answers. From these polygons, the pairs are T and U. They are congruent, meaning they have the exact same sides and angles. The next pair is polygon S and polygon W. Those two shapes have the exact same sides and angles and are therefore congruent. R and V is the third set. These two also have the exact same sides and angles. To find out if these shapes actually were identical, it was important to measure very carefully to make sure that all sides and angles were the exact same. Here we go. This is question number 3. Draw 3 congruent regular triangles. Label angles, sides, and type. Pause the video now to try this on your own. Okay, welcome back. These triangles that I have here all have side lengths of 6 centimeters and all have angles that are exactly 60 degrees. These 3 triangles that I've drawn here, we know are regular or equilateral triangles because all sides and angles are the same. And I could also say that these are acute triangles because all of the degrees in the angles are less than 90 degrees. All right, that's all for now. Till next time.